Yes guys, so I've got a bit of a different one today. I'm not going to be writing on any whiteboards or anything like that, but what I am going to be doing is talking a bit about what's been going on lately, my thoughts, how I'm doing. This is more of a self-update. I love to do self-update videos. It's so good watching back on these videos and just thinking like, what was he up to then? I was watching back on some of my videos that I did like a year ago. I got videos from years back on my channel, so feel free to check that out if you want to. I got a few other channels as well where I've got even more older videos, so yeah, try and see if you can find that sort of stuff. But yeah, I remember I was a bit younger and I deleted lots of videos when I used to post on YouTube when I must have been like 13 or 14. I wish I didn't delete those videos now because I can go back and watch those. It would have been an interesting experience. Yeah, I wish I kept those. But yeah, where are we at? We hit a really big milestone last week. So we are selling in-house solar. And what have we been doing? We've been selling in-house, right? So we've been sitting the sales calls ourselves, selling the customer, passing them over to an installer at the point of installation. And that was good. And now we want it to be even better. So we're taking over more of the process in-house ourselves. And it's a big milestone because this means that we can really scale to millions a month, which it's insane to think because it's been so long, right? Just grinding every day, sacrificing, right? It's like you have to be willing to make less than some of your employees for long periods of time if you want to really push the business and grow the business. If you want to stay stagnant, have massive salaries and not grow, fair enough, just stay where you are. But you have to sacrifice to get to the next level. It's literally the case with everything. If you feel like right now you're sacrificing, then usually that means that something good is going to come. Let me turn this face tracker on. I like the face tracker. There we go, that's detected me now. There we go, that's a bit more animated. If you feel like you're sacrificing something right now, then it usually means that you're going to get more reward later. What do I mean by that? I mean that in the case of us, we've sacrificed our own salaries at director level so that we can have lots of employees and all of them can eat good, like even better than us. It's just how it is if you want to grow. And sometimes it's fuck, man. Like, I'm working so much harder than everyone, right? And I'm getting like nothing back from it. But you can't think like that because you're the one with long-term equity value within the business, right? These people are here for obviously a career, right? I'm not saying that people are here just for a job. That's not the case. You want people to be bought into what you're doing, right? You need people to be bought in. I had a closer who is now director level with us on this business, right? One of the best decisions I've ever made bringing him in. Definitely. He's had, 10 years of experience in sales. I just knew he was like killer. Just brought him in. He was a sales rep initially. Helped us develop the process itself. Helped us increase sales. Helped the other club. We were killing it, making loads of money. But it gets to a point where you're doing like 80k a month, right? You're doing 80k, 100k a month. And it's just, it depends. Like it depends what you want. Do you want to just stay at that point forever? Fair enough. But if not, like I had to sacrifice a year to get to the point where I am now, and I'm still sacrificing. I will be sacrificing for probably the next 6 months. But that's to get to $1 million a month. So do you want to sacrifice now at the point where you're at right now, doing 80k a month, or for you it might be 10k a month, or for you it might be that job still. You might still be in a job, or you might just be bumming around. I don't really know. I don't know what you're doing. Maybe comment below what you're doing. But you're at whatever stage you are right now, right? Whatever stage you are right now, there's a sacrifice you could be making to get to that next level, right? What do I mean by that? So let's say you're in a job right now, yeah? Working, I want to say 9 to 5, but sometimes it's not even like that. Sometimes it's just part-time or whatever. You might be at uni, you might be working a job. Sacrifice alcohol, right? That was a big sacrifice for me. That was like the thing that changed everything for me, alcohol. Cutting alcohol out. That changed everything, man. That literally that made me like get to the point where I'm at now at 23, but obviously it doesn't feel like I'm massively successful, but in the grand scheme of things and compared to people who it's weird. But cut out alcohol, right? Sacrifice alcohol. You can have a lot of good memories that you're not going to be able to have now without alcohol, but it's the best decision I ever made, cutting out alcohol, sacrificing alcohol. Then after I sacrificed alcohol, I sacrificed a lot of friends, right? That sort of came as a byproduct of sacrificing alcohol. What came next? Let's say you're just working a job. You got to sacrifice that comfort blanket for a few uncomfortable months, right? And I don't know how far into that job you are, because if you're quite far into the job where you have expenses now, you have a car that you've got to pay for, you've got this and this that you've got to pay for, right? And you're used to that nice little comfort blanket, it's harder for you, but you're going to have to sacrifice it. I would just wipe it out, try and minimize your expenses as much as possible, just go all in, right? If you're a bit earlier on, like me, where like you didn't really have much to do, so I had some part-time jobs, I was still at uni, all that sort of stuff, like I could just go all in. But like, it's when you have that job and you have a bit of a comfort blanket, and you might have a car, you might have like a missus that you take out every weekend or whatever, you need to sacrifice that version of yourself. You just need to like, look, I'm not going out for dinner, I'm not drinking alcohol, I'm not gonna work that job, I'm just gonna find a way, sit in my room, find a way to make business work or sales work or whatever your agency work. You have to sacrifice the point of which you're at. Let's think of more sacrifices. So we were doing the next sacrifice is control. So this wasn't really a hard one. This was just a bit of a no-brainer one, but we were basically had a few clients making decent money, maybe like 10k a month, keeping all of it ourselves, but we were working endlessly, right? And this is why I say it's a no-brainer, because we just sacrificed control with implementing someone in there to take some of that load off, and then that allowed us to focus on sales, which increased the money even more, and so on, right? And then from there, another big sacrifice from there is sacrificing the actually bringing in the cash, right? Because if you're bringing in all the cash, then you can fling deals, you can do this, you can do that. But when you sacrifice the sales side of things, it's like you're going to take a dip in revenue, right? But you're going to bring someone else in who you're going to train up, who's eventually going to supersede you, or you might get two people in who eventually supersede you in that process. So it's like giving up that amount of cash, right? We were then collecting 50k a month, just me collecting 50k a month. I was taking all the margin, flinging deals, like making good money. Then you got to bring someone in, you got to get them to follow a specific process. The revenue is going to dip initially, it's just the way it is, right? But do you want to stay at 50k a month forever? Probably not, right? And then we go on to the next sacrifice, which is what I just spoke about. So, okay, now get to 100k a month, right? Maxing out whatever, for us, it's like pretty much maxing out the business model that we were in. So we had to try something else, right? We ran shit offers, everything, for a year. Then we eventually knuckled down and found the model that we were looking to do, and the model that was actually scalable long term. But that takes short term sacrifice. When I say short term, 6 to 12 months for a 10-year play. That's like the levels that you're playing at. If you're trying to get to millions a month, you're going to have to sacrifice a year of going from 100k a month, right? Elevated lifestyle, everything changed, like your life changed. You're like a baller at a young age. 100k a month, you have to sacrifice that, go back down to like barely making anything yourself. Not to say that the money's not still coming into the business, but you've got to sacrifice the lifestyle money so that you can get to the big dough. And then I'm gonna have to do it again, right? When we max out this business model and we're hitting the ceiling and really scaling it and getting too comfortable, we're gonna have to do it again, sacrifice all of that money that we earn and go even bigger again, right? You have to go all in. And I think what makes it easier is that it's not yours in the first place, right? Like you're in this game, you started off with zero, you're gonna end with zero. Nothing is ever actually yours. The illusion of belongings and stuff like that is just completely false. Everything gets taken away from you. Everything gets given to you and everything gets taken away from you. So just keep that in mind, and I think that makes it a bit easier to let go in pursuit of the bigger goal, right? And it's harder when things are good because you need to sacrifice the good to get the great. And yeah, so that's where we're at. We are scaling and it's beginning to play out. And Friday was a milestone for us. So past year and a half of just grinding again, back to zero, back to the drawing boards, right? Taking a hit on the ego, it's paying off. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to apply for coaching or whatnot, get on the website. Or if you want to see free value every single day, check out the Instagram.